So let's go back to imitation.
Okay.
So, okay. So, look, when a son acts out a father when he's playing house, he doesn't imitate his father, by which I mean you could observe the father walking across the room and making certain motions, and the son by no means precisely duplicates those motions.
Right.
What the son does is observe the father across a wide variety of contexts, extract out the gist, and imitate the gist.
Yeah.
Okay, so you made the claim that what we're imitating is the capacity to learn. But I would modify that and say, no, we're imitating the capacity to explore. And there's a difference there. Well, the difference is that learning is, in some sense, it has the connotation of a kind of passivity. Whereas, did you ever see that medieval drawing of the sky all covered with stars and the man on the edge of the earth with his head poking through the firmament? Does that ring a bell?
No, an actual medieval drawing or a modern cartoon?
Yes. No, it's a medieval drawing. It doesn't matter, but it's to boldly go where no one has gone before.
Yeah.
In the modern parlance. Well, there's a narrative that drives that, and that's the thing that's imitated. And I think all of those collective manifestations of immersement in the sacred that you're describing are opportunities for people to collectively engage in attention to and elevation of something like that.
Wait, so we certainly are an exploratory species, and just as when I was a kid, you get a mouse or a gerbil as a pet, you put it into a cage, it's going to explore. So mammals are many of them are very explorative. Human children are too. Is that what I'm sorry, you're saying this is what religion is somehow related to our exploratory instincts? What do you mean?
Yes, that it's a manifestation of our attempt to abstract out what the essential element of that is. So, for example, in Christianity, I think the faculty that's elevated to the highest degree is logos. And of course, that's translated into logic by the Greeks, but that isn't exactly all it means. It means more like exploratory, communicative endeavor, but also with a tremendous emphasis on the truth. And I traced that development back, for example, into Egypt and into Mesopotamia. And the Egyptians worshipped the eye, Horus's eye, and that's the attentive eye. It's not rationality precisely. It's the ability to see what's in front of you. It's the opposite of willful blindness. And the Egyptians characterized it as such because the god of Egyptian attention, Horus, was the antidote to Osiris. And Osiris was the blindness of the state. He was the state and the blindness of the state. The Egyptians had that all figured out. And in Mesopotamia, the highest god, Marduk, he had eyes all the way around his head. And he spoke magic words. And he was the victor of a battle between a whole sequence of gods, competition between gods, that was likely the abstracted result of competition between tribes and their own, local religions. Because monotheism seemed to emerge like that. Imagine all these tribes with their local gods. They come together. When they come together, the gods fight, so to speak. And then over some immense period of time, they arrange themselves into something approximating a hierarchy. And whatever is the ultimate principle that the cultures, assuming they didn't destroy each other, derived, starts to take place. So you see, each of these local gods is an element of an ideal. And as they struggle across time, the ideals arrange themselves according to whatever principle generates ideals, and something emerges at the top. The question is, what is it that always emerges at the top? There's a pattern, and it's the thing that we imitate. That's the crucial thing.
Wait, I'm sorry, what emerges out of the top? Give me an example.
The ideal. Well, I can give you an idea. I'll give you an example, okay? You tell me what you think about this, because it's expressed in all sorts of ways, because it can't be articulated, not fully. Okay, so you see Byzantine cathedrals. The dome is the sky. Okay, the cathedral's a cross.
Right.
The center of the cross is the central point of being. Okay. You look up at the sky, and there's a picture of Christ as Pantocrator, as creator of the world. Okay, what's the idea? And he's in gold. There's a halo. The halo is like the sun, and gold is a noble metal, right? It's pure and incorruptible. So that ties into that disgust issue that you've made so much of.
Right.
The logos idea is the idea that truthful speech brings about the best kind of reality. It's something like that. And so that's elevated. So you think, well, look, we imitate. We imitate the gist. Well, what is the gist extracted out over thousands of years? See, when I look at religion from a purely psychological perspective, let's say, and think about our continued discussion about what constitutes the human ideal, it's something personified. It has to be, because we can't imitate it otherwise. That's the problem with abstract ideals as motivating. They're not personified. Even when Stephen talked about the civil rights movement, he had to mention John F. K. and Martin Luther King, right? He had to bring the personality into it.
Yeah.
So you think, as we've organized our religions across time, as we've aggregated into groups and attempted to construct a monotheism, we're trying to figure out what principle should be elevated to the highest state.